What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're starting on the bodywork on the Caddy. You've seen a few videos prior, hopefully. If you haven't, check them out, they're on the channel. New Caddy, daily motor. It was dirty inside, all clean. We've got the front end on. We're now going to start on the bodywork. I'm going to do one panel at a time. That way you don't get sidetracked. If you start doing a full repaint and do all the dents at once, you then start getting in a bit of a mess, thinking there's loads to do. Great timing. Anyway, we're going to start on the rear quarters as they're the worst. Do the worst first and then it only gets easier. That's my method anyway. Let's check out today's panel. It's the rear left quarter. I believe it's the worst. Let's have a look. So it's all damaged around the filler cap. It isn't too bad. I've definitely repaired a lot worse. Below the light is quite pushed in. Just below the fuel cap's pushed in, and then just round the arch. It's not rusty. There's strong metal, and if you look, the paint's been chipped off for a while and it's not rusty. You got to love a VW for good quality metal. I'm going to get the time lapse on the go. I'll quickly run you through what's involved. So I need to get all the paint off of this area, and then I need to get the dent puller, pull all the dents out, because you can't just fill that, it will never look right. Get the paint off, pull the dent out, prime it with a bit of zinc primer on the bare metal, then we'll get some filler on it, rub it down, 2-pack primer, and then we'll move on to another panel. Let's get the time lapse on the go, and let's get the bodywork started. Oh yeah. Following day, we got some progress yesterday and we got it in primer. It's not as pretty as it could be, but it's done enough. We've got the line back relatively. We had a high spot, we've tapped it all down. We had a line dent along here, we've pulled that out. We had multiple little dents along here which caused high spots here and here. We've pulled them out, tapped the high spots down, put some primer on it. Now we're ready for filler. I've just put some tape inside there because we don't want loads of filler in there, because then you have to rub it out. It's not very pretty. We have got a bit of a dent in here, but it's such a crease dent, unless you can hammer and dolly it, you ain't going to pull it out, but it'd be fine with a skimmer filler. Let's get back to the time lapse. We'll get some filler on, we'll rub it down, we'll tape it up for primer, and then we're going to attack the door. Let's go. Cheeky little update, mid time-lapse update should I say. Let's have a little look round here. I've just got one more little bit to tickle off on that. That should be good. Rear quarter, happy with that. It's come out nice. I've had a bit of pre-clean up it. It's nice and straight. Happy days. Moving on to the back door. So you might have seen in the time lapse we had a wiper hole here. I don't plan to have a wiper on it, so I welded a metal plate on there, because you can just filler them and then they end up cracking. So we've welded a metal plate on the inside. Door is ready. I do need to prep it out and just sand over it with the 320 to get me scratch marks out, ready for primer. We have got one more small little dent. It's like a nipple dent, can you see it? It's not very nice. And what it is, that bolt there for the striker, I took the bolt out thinking someone's put a too long a bolt out, and I could see another bit of threaded bolt in there. I think someone snapped a bolt in there at one stage and then just wound a longer bolt in there, which has then pushed the dent on the outside. Problem is, I've got to take the door off to shake that little bit of bolt out, to then put it all back together, bolt that in, and then fix the dent. It's fine. I need hands. It's me only today. It is a Sunday, so I haven't even got the guys at Bumper to Bumper to go and give me a hand. We'll address that tomorrow. This rear door, I thought it was in relatively good condition, but I could see some blistering on the paint, these little dots. There was quite a lot of it, and it's had a really bad repair. I think that's like a aerosol lacquer maybe, not too sure. But anyway, I've seen this yellow filler primer multiple times in my life, and it's not very good stuff. It always does something like this and makes the lacquer go funny. So I've had to DA all that primer off, that horrible yellow filler primer. Never use it, guys. And doing so, I've uncovered a few dents. So lucky we done that, because I could have just run my hand over it and I would have found them at a later date, but we found them now. Ideally, I need to take the whole door off, and what I'll do, I'll just give it a blocking down on the bench, a bit easier because it's such a big flat-ish area. I'll take the door off, I'll give it one big skim, I'll knock most of that off, say 95%, and that'll just leave a little bit of filler in all the small dents, and we'll be happy with that. The rear quarter, you would have seen in the time lapse, I pulled it out and I believed it was okay. I've given it a skim of filler, and it turns out I need to give it a bit more attention. The better you get your metal, the better finish you can get with your filler work. And as you can see on the Caddies, it's one big panel, and that is a bit of a showpiece. So that needs to be absolutely mint. Otherwise, you're going to look down it and you're going to see it's a little bit ropey. Basically, I believe it's still a little bit low here, so we've got a high spot here. So I tried skimming it and it's not right. I need to take this off, pull this whole area out a tiny bit, and that'll push that high spot in a little bit. After the past two and a half days of doing filler work, I have spent maybe 8 hours metal work, filler work. My arms are a bit tender today, so I'm not going to do any more filler work today. But what I am going to do is sort out this rusty wheel arch. Back bumper off, wheel arch liner off, and then I use a grinder with a paint removing. It's a really soft pad. It doesn't remove any of the metal, it just takes all the paint away. So I'm going to grind this up to that line nicely, grind it on the inside, anti-rust it, and then we'll get some zinc primer on it, get right behind the bumper because the rust is behind the bumper too, and then I'll have another go at that later. And that's again why I've done the worst first, because it gets easier after that. There are only small dents up the rest of it. So let's get this wheel off. Another time lapse. We got the arch all ground down. Wasn't too bad. We had some fluffy bits, but I've hit it with a grinder and a wire wheel. I've anti-rusted it. That's what the black stuff is. Then I'm going to zinc prime it. I'm just waiting for some zinc primer to arrive, and then we can finish the arch. I'll do that dent again. I did filler it once, but it wasn't right. So I'll ground the filler off, straightened it even more, ready for filler. But I'm going to skim that and the arch at the same time. I'm just onto the back doors. This morning, I did get some primer going on. our yip and a bit on the bottom of the sliding door. And what I wanted to do, I just wanted to get some bits finished up, because when you do a whole vehicle, van, car, and there's loads of dents and there's loads of work, it starts to become a bit of a head mess. So you get some of it in primer, at least you know you're done. It's a bit more relieving to the brain when you look at it and you see all the filler work you've got to do. Done. We're now onto the back door. This one I have got to take off because there's dents around the edges, so I need to block it right to the edge. So I'm going to take this door off. In between doing that, I'm losing the badge. I like the smooth rear door on some of the Caddies, I've seen it. Badge is out. I'll ground it down round the edges. We've cut a piece out. I'm just tack welding it in. Tack those in. Wait 10 minutes for the panel to cool down. Tack some more. Wait for it to cool down, and so on. Let's skip to a next bit, because there's still a lot of filler work and more priming work. I will show you the process on the next amount of filler. But yeah, let's get some skipping going on. Otherwise, we will be here for a while. I'll be here for a while, but I'm sure you guys at home don't want to see every process that's involved. I'll just show you the good bits. Let's go. Guys, we are nearly done with big dents and big damage. I've also skimmed this one more time. Absolutely mint. I've tied the 2 dents in. We had a big dent along here and we had a little dent there, so I've just tied them right into one area. They're ready for primer, so now I'm moving on to small dents, and I just want to give you a little demonstration on how to do small dents, or how I do small dents. Other people do them different. When you're rubbing down big repairs, you'll end up breaking through the paint, and that's totally fine, because you've got a block and you rub through the filler and you end up rubbing through the paint that's next to the damaged area. Now that's fine, because we're going to primer all that, no problem. When it comes to little dents, and these were just like little dimple dents, you see them in cars, you see them in vans, you see them everywhere. Well, I'm painting it, so it's got to be mint. So what I like to do, I'll go round and I'll put a little dot right where the small dent is, and then I'll sand it with a sander, 500 grit, because you need to key it up. You can't put filler onto shiny paint, so you must key it up a little bit first. So I've rubbed that down with 500, and now I'm going to put a little bit of filler on. And where it's such a small dent, I want the filler to look relatively smooth. No hard edges. You don't want a cliff edge around your filler. Not on any filler, but especially on little dents. Now, what I'm going to do to rub that out, if I just went over that with my sanding block now, I'll end up rubbing out and rubbing through the paint around the outside. And then you're going to end up with no dent, but you ain't going to end up with a ring dent all the way around it, and it's not going to look too pretty. So once you've got your filler looking nice and smooth, I then get a brand new blade. I've slightly bent it, ever so slightly bent it, and make sure you use a brand new one, and then I just rub it along it like so, holding it very square to the panel. If you're very good, I need to swap hands, I'm using the wrong hand for this. If you're very good, you can do 2 strokes, but if you're not very good at it, just pull away from yourself. Don't pull it toward yourself, because you end up cutting grooves in it, and do not try scraping it. Give it a bit of that until it's smooth, and then it will look like this. That is one I've already done. I can't feel that at all, and I haven't broke through the paint on the outside. Then I've gone over it with my block and a 320 disc, ever so slightly, and now that is ready for primer. I've got a few more to do. I've done these. That one I need to blade off, that one I need to blade off, and sand the rest down. There is a few more up the motor, and I have been doing bits everywhere because I want it to look really good. But I just wanted to give a little demonstration on small dents, because sometimes they're harder than big dents. Guys, it's a few days later and I've been a busy bee, slowly chipping away at it. We've got the side mouldings off because we've got little areas to address. We've got 2 little rust patches right under the side moulding. We wanted to get it all. Oh, it's been a bit of a haul so far, but we've got multiple hands. What's going on, Green?
What's happening?
All right, boy. Insides of the doors. I really wanted to tidy them up, because you don't want to open up a shiny van and see punted in builders' doors. So we've got filler everywhere on the doors. We want them to look nice. What's going on, Pums?
Right, All right.
Thanks for helping, bro.
No worries.
We've also got a bit of slave labour going on. How's it going, boy?
Bit of child labour.
Yeah, you alright? Yeah. Doing a good job there, scotching out them door shuts. Thank you. Looking good. Yeah, we're going to get some primer. Well, I'll be getting some primer. I haven't got these all day, so I'm making the most of them. So I better put the camera down and better start doing something before they start calling me all sorts of names. Just want a slight cheeky little update. Van is progressing nicely. Yeah. Guys, it's a few days later and I have been extremely busy. I've stripped the van down and I'll run out of room in here. It's a bit busy and a bit messy. Yeah. We've run out of room in here, so I have got the doors, etc., down at bumper to bumper, the other garage. I'm going to do those down there, and then I'll get the van done up here. I need to block this side down, prime it, prime loads of other bits. I still need to fix all the front end, so we're going to do 2 parts on the bodywork. I did want to try and squeeze it all into one video, but then I'd have had to cut and edit loads out. There's a load of bits I want to show you. Let's have a little walk around. She is stripped. There's a few more bits that I've got to get in primer. A few more bits that I've got to rub down. We've got them down at bumper to bumper. Nathan's kindly let me use a corner of his workshop. Next episode, we'll be down there. I'll be rubbing the front end down and we're going to get this buttoned up, get it in primer, hopefully get a bit closer to the painting stage. I'm almost there. I've been rubbing filler out in the door shuts. The door shuts were hanging. The insides of the doors, let's have a little butcher's. Oh, I put some tape on it, didn't I? Insides of the doors are all in primer. They are looking pretty. Same both sides. Yeah, looking good. I want it to look good inside and out, so we're painting all the damaged bits, making them look pretty. Next episode, we'll be down at bumper to bumper. I will be getting the last of the bits rubbed down, then in primer. Then we're going to let it sit for a couple of days. Then we need to rub it all down again. That train every time. Then we need to rub all the primer down, get it all taped up, get it in the booth, get it ready for paint, and it's going to look good. Well, I hope it's going to look good. I put a lot of effort into it. All the door shuts were hanging. Loads of corners were rough and sort of flaky paint. No rust or anything, which is good. I'm an old Ford lover and they were hanging everywhere. So nice being a VW fan and not finding any rust. Have a look through the other videos. Click the thumbs up if you like this one. Don't forget to check out the next bodywork video. That will be out in a few days, maybe a week's time. Click the thumbs up, hit the subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.